Now what's the ruckus?
Komasan and Komajiro, the precious cinnamon roll brothers from the Yokai Watch series. Yes, 57 episodes later, and I'm finally getting back to Yokai Watch. These brothers are Komainu, you know, those Chinese lion dog statues that you see acting as guardians outside of temples. Though Komasan ended up getting bored of guarding his spot in the country, and ended up leaving to see the world. Though I think he forgot to tell his brother, and Komajiro also ends up leaving his spot to search for his bro. They end up reuniting eventually, and after doing so, chose to settle down in the big city. But now they'll be taking another vacation as they make their trek to the world of Super Smash Bros. And this time, Komasan will not be leaving without his brother. Komajiro is coming along. That's right, for the first time in the What If They Were in Smash series, I'll be covering a proper duo character. And I'm not talking about like what I did for Papyrus and Sans, who I had fight independently of one another. The Komainu brothers will be fighting together, Ice Climber style. So getting right into things, the brothers will be fairly light overall. They'll both have 2 jumps and no additional movement options. Now, with them fighting as a pair, that of course is their major gimmick. So allow me to go ahead and get the mechanics of that out of the way first. For starters, making these two a duo character really does make the most sense. They're identical in every way outside of color and personality, so every attack that one can do, the other could do with no problem. But not only that, it also makes a lot of sense contextually in the context of Yokai Watch's gameplay. Every yokai has a special ability to give them the edge in battle, but Komasan and Komajiro have a particularly special circumstance. Komasan's ability is called Alpha, which increases the user's power when adjacent to a yokai with the ability called Omega, which increases their user's ability when paired with an Alpha user. And guess who just so happens to have the Omega ability? That's right, quite obviously, Komajiro. They're designed to fight together, as doing so will make them so much more powerful than they ever could be alone. So now that you know why having these two fight together makes a lot of sense, here's how their duality would function as a whole. Most Smash players should be fairly familiar with how the mountain scaling Popo and Nana work. They attack at the same time with a minor delay from the secondary climber's attacks, and generally having them together makes them a much better character overall, arguably even being better than the majority of the characters on the roster. With the major trade-off being that if they're separated, or if the second Ice Climber is KO'd outright, then they become a much worse character, probably the worst out of the entire roster. Specifically with the case of Popo and Nana, when together they deal double damage, and certain attacks gain secondary effects, or even just become better. But when alone, they become weak and have a near non-existent recovery, as some attacks just straight up don't work when they're separated. Elements of that will be present for the Komainu brothers, but they will also have their own kinds of advantages thanks to their specific powers. Since being together activates Alpha and Omega, then it only makes sense that being together gives them a power boost, so that aspect will be the same as the Ice Climbers. What will be different, however, is the recovery aspect. They'll be able to recover the same regardless of whether together or apart. Komasan and Komajiro will also have their own unique benefit when together, and that'll be a major speed boost. While the brothers are identical physically, they do have a few differences in their powers. I'll go over most of those differences later, but for now, I just want to talk about Komajiro's inspiriting power. For those who aren't familiar, all yokai have the ability to inspirit, which is a form of possession that they can do to others. They are spirits after all. They can possess people, objects, and even other fellow yokai. And in this case, this is actually what Komajiro will be doing to his own brother. Komajiro's Inspirit is called Tiger Power, which is actually a beneficial Inspirit that allows Komajiro to give whomever he's possessing the speed of a tiger, making them move much faster. So in the case of the brothers working together for this moveset, whenever they're together, all of their attacks will actually come out pretty quickly, and whenever they're separated, then all of their attacks become a little slower. So overall, just like with the Ice Climbers, you want to keep the brothers together, because if separated, they will objectively be terrible, but when working as a pair, they're a force to be reckoned with. Komasan and Komajiro's jab can be based off of Komajiro's triple attack that he gets in Yokai Watch 4. The first hit is a diagonally swung horizontal punch forwards, which is also the basic attack animation that they have in the first 3 Yokai Watch games. The second hit can be a diagonal swing from his other arm forwards, and the attack ends with them doing a quick front flip to swing an arm from high to low. The dash attack can be from the game Yokai Watch Blasters, and it's a move actually called the dash attack. This was also a Komajiro only move, but it can have both brothers thrust forwards, then end with a quick uppercut to launch foes away. For this attack, Komasan's hit doesn't launch foes very far, but it does leave them with a bit of hit stun, whereas Komajiro's hit will be the one that launches foes away. This could be in reference to how this is technically Komajiro's move, so he is better at using it than his older brother. But it could also reference how stat-wise, Komajiro is actually the harder hitter in terms of physical attacks, whereas Komasan is the spiritual special attacker. Their side tilt can have him do a quick double straight punch forwards with both arms. This was the second hit of their triple attack in Blasters. The up tilt can have him do a quick jumping headbutt straight upwards to launch any foe above them, and their down tilt can have the Komainu swing their heads horizontally across the ground, which would actually deal fire damage thanks to their burning eyebrows. For their side smash, it can have the brothers use their strong attacks from Yokai Watch 4. This move has them do a powerful punch while also propelling themselves a fair distance forwards to give it some extra reach. Their up smash can have them do a swinging headbutt from back to front to hit with their flaming eyebrows. Them being together or apart for this smash will affect the angle. Being apart sends foes at a kind of forwards upward angle, whereas being together sends foes straight upwards. For their down smash, they can each take their own furoshiki, the bags that they carry on their back, and swing it low to the ground on both sides of themselves one side at a time. If together, they'll actually swing their furoshikis opposite of one another, allowing this down smash to be able to hit on both sides at the same time, turning this move into a 2-hit attack. For the neutral aerial, they'll each take their furoshiki again and spin it around themselves a single time at a slight horizontal angle. Foes hit by this will be launched on contact. The forward air can have them do a quick front flip, then end with a horizontal drop kick. The initial flip deals a flinching hit, which if it connects properly, can lead to the foe being launched forwards by the following dropkick. The back air can have the brothers do a hip check backwards, sticking their bums out to launch foes with their tails. This actually references the third hit of their triple attack from Blasters. The up air can have them spin a few times while expanding their eyebrows upwards, causing a tiny flame vortex above themselves. Getting hit by any part of their bodies as they spin will deal flinching damage, but if a foe is touching the flames by the time the attack concludes, then they will be launched upwards. And their down air can have them both once again take their furoshiki, but this time swing them from high to low to smack whoever's below them. And it will only be Komajiro's strike that's capable of spiking foes at the attack sweet spots. Regardless of who grabs, they'll do so with both arms and will pummel by headbutting their caught foe. And just like with the Ice Climbers, if Komasan grabs a foe, then Komajiro will just stand there and will do celebratory animations after his brother does a successful throw. That said, their throws in grab game overall will be kinda weak. Komasan doesn't really like hurting people, and to have him stare his grabbed foes in the eyes right before throwing them probably breaks his poor little heart. Anyways, the forward throw can be a quick hip check forwards, the back throw can have him pick the foe up, but then clumsily fall over onto his back, all the while accidentally tossing his foe backwards at an upward angle. The up throw can have Komasan hold the foe tight with a full grip, do a small jump, then slam the foe into the ground and do a silly little pile driver, bouncing the foe into the air while Komasan falls over himself. And the down throw can have Komasan do an upside down headbutt to smash the foe into the ground and bounce them forwards into the air. For Komasan and Komajiro's neutral special, they'll be using their Soultimate moves. Komasan will use the Spirit Dance. This allows him to summon a flurry of wisps to envelop his foes into a ghastly inferno. And Komajiro will use the Wild Zaps. Using his powers as the Thunder Tiger, he rains down a storm of electricity to fry his opponents on the spot. For this neutral special, they are using those moves together to pull something off that's incredibly powerful. The two of them will spend 2 seconds to begin their chanting ritual dances, and after the startup, a flare of wisps will begin to envelop the ground all around them, while at the same time, lightning will strike down directly above them into the same area of the wisps. Getting hit by this attack is devastating. You can get caught into it and be forced to keep taking damage up until the move concludes after 2 seconds, after which you will be launched away. This move would rival that of Ike's fully charged eruption or even the likes of Ganondorf's Warlock Punch. But just like those moves, while it's very dangerous to your opponent, it's also a very risky move to use. As I said, there's a 2-second startup, and there's also quite a bit of end lag after the move concludes. On top of that, while this move is able to hit on both sides of the brothers, and despite what you're probably seeing on screen right now, it doesn't actually have a whole lot of range. Foes need to be very close in order for this to land. So really, think of this as kind of more of a nerfed version of what their ultimates really are overall. Now, of course, this move also becomes very different if poor Komasan ends up using the neutral special by himself. Without his brother's Tiger power, it now takes a full 5 seconds for it to charge. And it also, of course, loses the lightning that hits from above, so now only the flames are there on the ground, worsening its range even more. And on top of that, without the Alpha Omega boost, its power becomes halved. So as you'd expect, it overall just becomes a much worse move. That said, there is one major upside to using this even if poor Komasan is by himself, as it will actually gain a new effect that it won't normally have if the brothers are together. If Komasan is lucky enough to be able to pull off his spirit dance completely uninterrupted, using the powers of those spirits, he'll actually be able to call on Komajiro's spirit and bring him back to his side. Whether Komajiro is just somewhere else on the stage, or even if he was KO'd, Komasan will revive his kid brother, reuniting them so that they may fight together once again. I'm sure you Ice Climber mains out there may hate that idea, and others may just find it unfair or even broken. But again, Komasan being able to pull off the whole worsened spirit dance without interruption would be very difficult, but with its much longer startup time. It'd require extreme luck or some next level gameplay in order to be able to use it, because most of the time, your opponents are not going to let you have that full probably like 7 or 8 seconds to be able to do so. You monsters, how dare you not let these brothers be together? I'm sure some of you are wondering what's even the point considering how long it would take, but that's kinda supposed to be the point. You should have been keeping them together in the first place, and if you weren't able to, well then you're gonna need to put in a little extra effort in order to reunite them. Plus just having that option is already better than the short stick that the Ice Climbers drew. Once they're separated, they're just boned. Oh well. Moving on to their side special, this can have the brothers combine their technique attacks to make for a powerful projectile move. Komasan will use Blaze, and Komajiro will use Lightning, and they'll shoot their attacks together as an energy ball of plasma that flies straight forward, then explodes on contact. This projectile flies pretty fast on its set trajectory, and the damage that the explosion deals hurts quite a bit. It's even capable of getting KOs if the opponent's damage was already too high. Now when separated, Komasan will just use his Blaze technique normally. It flies the same distance, except it's way slower, and it doesn't explode on contact anymore. It only deals small flinching damage. So it loses its KO potential, but it could still be used as a gipping option if necessary. Now for Komasan and Komajiro's up special, this is going to have to be a completely innovative attack. One that we've never seen them actually do, but it can be a reference to something that is a big part of their character. I call it the Swirly Spiral. This is a move that's very similar to Wario's up special. It has the brothers spin very fast while rising up at the same time. Foes hit by their bodies will be caught in the spiral, taking multi-hitting damage before being launched at the end of the move, after which the brothers just go into freefall. When alone, it pretty much works just like Wario's up special, but when together, Komajiro trails behind a bit, so that could allow the move to have a bit more range to hit opponents. This may seem like a completely out of left field idea, but it's actually referencing the brothers' overall spirally nature. As you can see from their design, they're covered from head to toe in swirls. Their favorite food as of Yokai 3 is soft serve ice cream, made spiraled into a cone. And then there's, of course, their iconic catchphrase.
Oh, my swirls! Oh, my swirls!
I think I made my point. But finally, for their down special, while Komajiro will be using his beneficial Tiger power to support his brother throughout the whole match, the down special will have Komasan use his in-spirit power. Which really is much less a possession thing, and more so just Komasan burning his opponents with his eyebrows. He'll flare his eyebrows out, and any foe hit by them will take small damage, as well as receive a damage over time status that lasts for about 5 seconds, and will make them take at most 10% of damage until it wears off. This attack is very fast with Komajiro around, with next to no start lag and very little end lag. This is of course because Komajiro will be putting in some extra effort into his in-spirit to help out his brothers in spirit. So needless to say, if Komajiro isn't there, then the burn down special will become very slow, becoming a very punishable attack that's, quite honestly, not that worth using. For Komasan and Komajiro's final smash, it can have them increase their strength by evolving into their enhanced forms, Komain and Komajiro. They'll take on these forms and then unleash their powerful ultimate attacks together, Spirit Burst and Crazy Lightning. Komain will create a wall of wisps that envelop every part of the stage's ground and platforms, making it very dangerous to even stand on the stage. And if you think just jumping will save you, then think again, because Komajiro will be raining down deadly lightning strikes from the sky all across the stage. Nowhere is safe. No matter if it's the wisps or the lightning that you get hit by, getting caught into its fury quickly racks up damage, and then you'll be launched away at the end of the smash when it concludes with one final blast. After which, Komain and Komajiro revert back to Komasan and Komajiro to resume their fight. This final smash is devastating, but as is the case with everything else with this moveset, it's only so when the brothers are together. If Komasan is alone when he uses the final smash, he'll still transform into Komain and use the Spirit Burst, but since the wisps only affect the ground, that means it will be a lot easier for foes to just play some Flora's Lava until the smash concludes, making it a lot less effective. For colors, just like with another certain marketable mascot, there have been a lot of different Komainu over the course of Yokai Watch, so we can just use those as references. I should also go ahead and mention that for this moveset, based on how I set it up, you would only be able to play as Komasan exclusively for all the alts. Komajiro will only ever be playing as the supportive secondary role. In which case, their default will of course have Komasan in his usual white and blue colors, and Komajiro in his usual yellow and browns. Their first alt can have Komasan in muted blue colors, and Komajiro in muted browns, referencing the Koma Nomads, the traveling American Komainu. Their second alt can give Komasan orange and red colors, referencing Jiba Koma, the fusion between Komasan and Jibanyan. And Komajiro can have blue colors, which would be original. The third can make Komasan green and orange, referencing Wibble Koma, and Komajiro can be purple, which is also original. The next can have Komasan in brown and yellow colors, in reference to Koma Nubis, and Komajiro in a light gray. Then can be legendary-based colors, with Komasan in a white and red, and Komajiro in a white and yellow. These are in reference to the legendary Komainu yokai, the mighty Koma Shura and the American Koma Star. Next can have Komasan in off yellows and blues, referencing Robo Koma, then Komajiro in a dark navy. And finally, they can have a single alternate costume, with Komasan wearing his Blaster's uniform, and Komajiro can take on his rapping persona, DJ KJ. He's alright, though he'll never even come close to the musical stylings of that of DJ KK. That guy's on a whole nother level. For their stage intro, they'd both appear out of a pink summoning circle. All the while, you'd hear boom, boom, walla, walla, dance, dance, charming. For taunts, their first can show both brothers loafing around like yokai will randomly do during fights when they get lazy, but they quickly snap out of it. The second can have them both pull out their favorite ice cream cones, then slurp them down with one big lick. And their final can actually reference one of their win poses, having them both howl to the sky like true lion dogs. And finally, for their victory animations, the first can be their first win pose, where they both do a little jump, then do the monkey. Their second can be their second win pose, where they both do a backflip, then do a clumsy balancing pose. And to make for a much more interesting final win pose, I think it can actually be a mixture of win poses that come from the Koma Nomads, which could have the brothers clap their hands together, and then do a hand-joined spin dance and celebration. And that does it for What If Komasan and Komajiro were in Smash! I'd love to see Yokai Watch get some representation in Smash. Heck, I just want to see Yokai Watch get more representation overseas overall. Please, play these games! I promise they're great! And after playing Yokai Watch 4 for myself, this game needs to be shown some localized love! It's an amazing game! While of course the most obvious choice for a Yokai Watch rep would be the Red Paws of Fury himself, Komasan Komajiro would be such a sweet cinnamon treat to get as well. In any which case, if you liked what you saw and would like to see even more characters be given possible Smash movesets, be sure to subscribe.
Play Yokai Watch.
And if you'd like to support the show and help me be able to make more content for you guys, you can click the join button either below the video or my main page to become a sponsor for my channel.
Play Yokai Watch.
Doing so will get you access to my private Discord as well as channel emotes. You can guarantee that your name appears in my videos or even get the option of knowing what if character is coming next a week in advance. I'd really appreciate anything that can be contributed.
I'd also really appreciate you playing Yokai Watch.
And of course, if you have a character that you'd like to see be given a possible Smash moveset, leave a comment down below or contact me on Twitter at BrelFan1 on Twits. I hope you all enjoyed, thank you so much for watching, and please, go play Yokai Watch!